Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Unit 5. Our notes 1 is on parts of a parabola. We're going to specifically looking at finding the vertex and the y-intercept today. So we are starting all about quadratics in this unit. And so a quadratic equation is anything that can be written in the standard form y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. That is a quadratic equation. And the graph of a quadratic is a parabola, P-A-R-A-B-O-L-A. Looks like parabola, but we call it a parabola. Now, if you're in Mrs. Matheson's room and you look to the right wall, you're going to see a bunch of different parabolas over there. Those are that curved shape that we see. This is a parabola, and we also see them open down. And so you see that here in this next picture. Okay, so we're going to talk about different parts of a parabola. So our first part here we have is a vertex. So you'll see there's fill in the blank below. They have a point called the vertex. This is the starting point when you graph the parabola. The vertex is going to be here or up here. Okay. This is the maximum or the minimum for the graph. And so when your graph opens up, your vertex is a minimum. Oops, I almost wrote maximum. This is the minimum. This is your lowest point on the graph. If your graph is going to open down, your vertex is your maximum. This is the highest point in your graph. Next, we have, oops, we're going to move that down a little bit. We have, notice the parabolas are symmetric. So remember, symmetric is something that is the exact same on both the right side and the left side. So they have this invisible line, vertical line, that's called axis of symmetry. And so here is our axis of symmetry. Now notice the axis of symmetry goes right through the vertex. Okay, and so this axis of symmetry has the same value as the x coordinate in our vertex. Remember, this is our x and this is our y, and so our axis of symmetry runs right through the vertex and through the x coordinate of that. All right, there we go. The point where the parabola crosses the y-axis is the y-intercept. Okay, so this right here is our y-intercept. It's where our graph crosses the y-axis. And here's our y-intercept in this picture. The y-intercept in the function, the actual equation of it, is the constant. So if you jump up and look, this this c value is our y-intercept. Now notice c is a constant. It has no variable. Okay. And then last we have here, it says the graph will open up when a is greater than 0. And so when our a value is positive, which is greater than 0, our graph opens up. That's this one. And it opens down when a is less than 0 or is negative. And so that's that look for the graph. So just by looking at your a value here, you are going to be able to tell me right off the bat if your graph is going to open up or open down. All right, so that was a bunch of vocab pieces. So let's go ahead and go to the back side of your notes. And this is going to get into how to actually find out the points to graph. So I want you to pause the video here and jot down all of these steps. So pause the video here so you can jot down all of these steps. All right, hopefully you had paused the video so that you could have these written down. So first you're going to acknowledge, it's going to write out A, B, and C. So you're going to acknowledge A is this value, B is this value, and C is this value. you are going to find the x-coordinate, and this is the x-coordinate of the vertex. Okay, and I'm giving you this formula. It's x equals, it says negative b, but I want you to think of this as opposite b over 2a. Okay, this formula also is on the wall, on the right wall, right in the middle, underneath my outlet, you'll see it says axis of symmetry, and then right below it, it says x equals opposite b over 2a. So make sure you found that. Then step 3 says plug that x-coordinate back into the original function to find your y-coordinate. Again, this is the y-coordinate of the vertex. And then you're going to write out, ooh, got excited there. You're going to write out that vertex as an ordered pair. So remember that the axis of symmetry is equal to x equals opposite b over 2a. That's the nice little formula you'll need to remember. So here we are given, and we have to find out, and literally look, it gives us step by step what I want to look for. So our a value is 2. Our b value is the one in front of x, so that's 8. And our c value is our constant, the one by itself, so that's -3. We want to know if this opens up or opens down. So a reminder, you have to look at your a value. Is my a value positive? It opens up. Or is my a value negative? It's going to open down. And you'll see that my a value is positive, so this is going to open up. Okay, then we have to find our axis of symmetry. So that's our x equals opposite b over 2a. So I'm just going to write down here, might give a little work, x equals opposite b. Well, if b is 8, the opposite of that is -8 over 2 times a, and a is 2 in this one. So I keep my -8 over 2 times 2 turns into 4, and -8 divided by 4 is -2. So this is my axis of symmetry. So what that means is on my axes, if I go over to -2, that is that axis of symmetry. My parabola is going to fold evenly over that purple dotted line there. And we know it's going to open up. All right, so then the vertex, our x coordinate is -2. But now to find our y coordinate, I'm going to just erase this so we have a little more workspace. For our y coordinate, if we look back up, and now this is a y coordinate of the vertex, step 3 said plug the x coordinate back into the original function. So that's plugging it back in to this function here. So y equals 2, and instead of x, we're going to plug in a -2. Remember, when it is a negative value and you're going to square it, you need to put it into parentheses. Plus 8, and then in parentheses, -2 minus 3. Okay, so -2 squared. So -2 times -2 turns into a 4. 8 times -2 is -16. 2 times 4 gives us 8 minus 16 minus 3. And 8 minus 16 gives us a -8. And then we have a -3. We end up with -11. So that's our y coordinate of our vertex. And then we have our y-intercept, and that's our c value. And so our c value is -3, so our y-intercept is just -3. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and take a look at number 2, and we'll do number 2 together. So we're going to start off, we're going to find our a, b, and c value. A is the value in front of x squared, so -3. B is the value in front of x, so that's a -6, and C is our 4. Does this open up or does this open down? What do you guys think? Open up, open down? Okay, I hope some of you said it's going to open down because that A value is negative. Axis of symmetry. X equals opposite B. So B is -6, so we're thinking opposite. This is +6 over 2 times my A value, which was -3. So 2 times negative 3 gives me a negative 6, and 6 divided by negative 6 is negative 1. We can carry this down into our vertex as our x coordinate. Then to find our y-coordinate of our vertex, we're going to plug negative 1 back into our original quadratic function. So negative 3 parentheses negative 1 squared minus 6 parentheses negative 1 plus 4. All right, negative 1 squared is negative 1 times negative 1. So that turns into a positive 1. And negative 6 times negative 1 turns into a positive 6. 3 times 1, or negative 3 times 1 gives me a negative 3 plus 6 plus 4. Negative 3 plus 6 is 3 plus 4. We find our y value of our vertex to be 7. And then our y-intercept is just our c value, which was 4. All right, go ahead and pause the video here. If you're in class, take a moment, check with your neighbors and see if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, you can go ahead and I want you to keep that video paused and I want you to try problem 3 all on your own. So pause the video here and I want you to try problem 3 all on your own. And when you push play again, the problem is going to be done for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and take a peek here. Our A value is 1, B is 2, C is 18. Our parabola is going to open up because A is a positive 1. Axis of symmetry, you see that written down here. Opposite B, so negative 2 over 2 times A, which is 1. So we get negative 2 over 2, and that gives us negative 1. We have that as our axis of symmetry and our x-coordinate in our vertex. Then we go ahead and plug that in to our original quadratic equation, and I see that there to get us our y-coordinate of our vertex, so 17. And then our y-intercept is just our c value, so 18. Okay, so let's look at this next problem here. I see that it only has 2 terms in this quadratic equation, which is just great. But let's identify what our a, b, and c are to start off. So our a is our 2. It's the value in front of x squared. So now we need to decide, is b 16 or is c 16? Well, in this case, in all of cases, b is the value in front of x. We don't have just a plain x here, so our v value has to be 0. That's the only value that would get rid of the x term. And c is our constant, the one without a variable. Okay, I want you to go ahead and pause the video here and try finishing out problem 4. And then when you come back, you'll have the answers here, and then we'll just touch base again. All right, so taking a look here, it's going to open up because our a value is positive 2. Finding our axis of symmetry, so that's our x equals opposite b. 0 doesn't have positive or negative, so it just stays 0, divided by 2 times a, which was 2. And 0 divided by any number is 0. Then we're going to go ahead and plug that back into our original quadratic equation to find our y-coordinate of our vertex. 0 squared is 0. 2 times 0 is 0, and so then you just have 0 plus 16. And then our y-intercept ends up being our value c. And so if we actually look at this, our vertex goes through our y-axis as our y-intercept. So that just means that, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow in graphing parabolas, but my parabola is going to be sitting somewhere, it's going to be sitting here at 16 for my vertex. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that is our notes for the day. If you have questions, please take some time to check in. And then your homework is going to be your 5-1 worksheet. Make sure that you get all those labeled. And yeah, So go ahead and give those a try. And if you look on your homework, number 9 is asking you to find the vertex and the y-intercept, two things that we have done in these type of problems. And in 10, it's asking you for the maximum profit of the year. And so again, that's asking you to find your vertex. All right, go ahead and get working on that. We'll see you guys tomorrow.